Good morning, everybody. For those of us, few of us joining here now, but most of you later, so maybe it's in the afternoon. So whenever you're watching this, I hope this finds you well. Namaste. So, wow, we've done 2 weeks of passion. So these next 2 weeks are going to be focused on purpose. And I do think that purpose and passion go hand in hand, particularly for the type of purpose that I'm hoping, that I really want to focus on here. Really, a life without purpose is a life without meaning. I mean, we come to this earth to have a human experience, and I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so there's a reason why we're here. And we may think that purpose is this, I think I'm just going to get rid of my computer because it's not working. Yeah, we think that this purpose is something, some big thing. I know for years, even as a yoga teacher, I used to think, oh my God, I don't know what my purpose is. Like, I must be flawed in some way. I don't have an understanding. And it's like, well, purpose can be a whole bunch of things. I listened to a woman once when she was having a crisis point in her life and didn't know what the meaning of her life was and stuff. She had a little breakdown in her bathroom or wherever, and the voice came and said to her, your purpose is to be you. And it just like cleaned her up, like, oh, right, okay, I can do that. So in a way, our purpose in life is to be us. And like passion, purpose can have many tentacles. So I'm not here to talk about your purpose in terms of your livelihood and what you're doing to make money. And, of course, our job fills up a lot of time in our life. So I do hope you do enjoy it and you can find purpose in that. But our purpose, if you look at it that way, is to be who we are. So I'd like you to contemplate with regard to purpose, like, what are your greatest gifts? What are the most powerful tools that you have within yourself, your greatest gifts that you've come? I honestly think that sharing our greatest gifts, the things that we're best at, the things that we've been given that come very natural to us, is really our purpose. And so that can manifest itself in many different ways or express itself in many different ways in life. And we do have many different levels of purpose. Like, if you wake up, if you decide one day, one night before bed, right, tomorrow I'm cleaning my house, it's a complete pigsty and the whole thing needs doing. And that day you wake up, and you're like jumping out of bed and like, yes, got to get sorted, going to start cleaning this house. And that's a purpose, right? And it gets us out of bed, because this is the thing about purpose, making meaning to our life, giving meaning to each day. So we sprinkle our purpose. So that may not be so related to passion, but we may be quite passionate about, how our home looks and presenting ourselves in a certain way. So that's expressed through, oh shit, I've got to clean my house. And that's made me jump out of bed and given me a little, a spring in my step. Another thing might be like you decided you're going to buy a puppy, and one day you get up and it's like, oh, I've got to get my puppy today, I can't wait. And you go out, you get the puppy, you bring it home. It's not a day thing. It's not just, I had this one purpose for one day. That purpose is for the extent of that doggy's life. And that dog can bring you great purpose. Every day I need to get out of bed because I've got to walk and feed my dog. Yeah. And it gives us something extra to live for. And of course, when it comes to animals, the joys, whatever. But so we have all of these, and it's nice for you to have a clear understanding about how purpose is playing its role in motivating you and giving you a sense of purpose and fulfillment in your life. and that can be through your job as well, your family. I would like you to begin to contemplate about those inner fires that are beginning to burn up for you in terms of, as in yoga philosophy, particularly the Vedanta philosophy that I've been studying, is that there's a certain stage in life, and most of us here doing this yoga series are, older. We stop being consumers, and it is our role to start being contributors. So in that way, at this time in life, while humanity is going through a huge shift, it may be an idea for you to look at what is really important for you, that you can begin to put some purpose into, a cause, a belief that you have, that you can begin to let it direct you a little bit more. So for me at the moment, it's plastic. I'm not wanting to use plastic. Of course, that's a hard thing, but I'm making changes in my life. Last year it was like reducing carbon footprint and changing my diet. So I was, taking less animal products, because the cause for me is important where we're at in life right now. And I think that I'm inviting you into that space of more like, okay, yes, I want your life to have purpose, but to really begin to knit that purpose into something that's for the greater good as well, not just a personal thing or your family. Of course, it's okay, but I think at this stage in life, it could be a good idea to begin to broaden your purpose into something bigger. It's a thought. But this week, just looking at how purpose is playing up in your life and what you feel gives you that great sense of purpose. And remember that purpose isn't just one thing, and your true purpose is simply to be you and to bring out your greatest gifts and use them. So, I hope that is helpful. You might want to do some journaling or some contemplation. Should do some meditation things and send them out. We'll see how we go. Okay, so we come into the asana side of practice. I'm going to just change this. We're not going to need anything today, really. You can have some props that make you feel secure and supported. But actually, I don't have any intention in using props today. If you're comfortable to do so, I'd like you just to sit on your feet. If you're not comfortable to do so, saying that we don't need props, you can stack a couple of blocks, one on top of the other, and sit on them, in between the feet. And then, so if you're not comfortable here, sitting like this, and that would be the thing to do. I'd like you to bring, once you're comfortable, your hands to your hearts, your hands in prayer to your hearts. Make your hands a little like a candle flame. So we're not spreading the fingers, but they're gently pressing together, and the back of the thumbs are pressing into the sternum. Taking a breath to feel the body with your inhalation. You might like to sigh it out through the mouth once or twice. And then I'd like you to take a couple of breaths where you're breathing up from the tail, up the spine to the crown on the inhale. And back down from crown to tail on the exhale. Begin to find this channel, this pathway of energy, clearing out any debris. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your eyes. We're going to interlace all the fingers bar the index and thumb. So we come into Agni Mudra, fire mudra. And we use an inhalation now to raise the arms through the center and up. And as you exhale, slicing the air in front of you, all the way down into your lap, and then use the inhalation to ride back up through the center, over the head, pointing to the heavens, and exhale, slicing the air consciously in front of you. Inhale, rising. Exhale, slicing. We're going to bring in some omming in this. We're going to inhale and let the arms rise up. And as we exhale and slice, we're going to release our om. And then repeat that 3 times. So we'll make it this cycle. Inhaling to prepare for om. And again. Last one. Inhale. Bringing the hands back into prayer at the heart center. Taking a moment. Feeling into your heart, feeling into your body, feeling into your purpose. Inhale for the hands to rise up and over once again. And as you exhale, leaning forward and bringing the hands out in front of you, just stretching them for a moment and rocking your hips from side to side. You might like to swing the chin from side to side as well. And then when you're ready, use an inhalation to coil up, bringing your hands, shoulders over your wrists, over your hands. Widen the knees just enough that they are hip distance. And you can tuck the toes and begin to drop that down on the exhale. We're going to repeat this a few times. Inhale, rounding forward until the shoulders come over the wrists and then rolling back. So sit bones rise, chest and chin. Inhale, dropping head and tail, rolling, rounding forward, opening up the back of the neck, shoulders. Exhale, pulling back. And just find your own rhythm for a few more rounds as we awaken the spine and the shoulders, lower back, hips. And then as you come up on your next inhale, just exhale and stay. I should have put my hair up. You're going to lift the feet and just shake out those ankles, the feet, the ankles. And once they feel a little more comfortable, you can rotate them swiftly in both directions. Swing your feet from side to side. And then just coming back to the center. We're going to open our knees just a tiny bit wider than our hips and, turn our fingers so they're facing away from each other, just out to the side. So the wrists are facing into the center, the fingers are facing out to the side. And we're just going to swing from left to right. And then come back to the center. You could bring your knees back in under if you like, and turn your left hand so the fingers face your knee. But the right hand, you can just stay where it is. We're going to take an inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to drop into down cat. So drop the head and tuck the tail, round through the spine. Inhale to roll into up cat, rolling the sit bones high, lift your chest and chin. And repeat it, exhale, draw the navel in, drop the head and tail, press in with that left hand, and exhale, inhale, sorry, rolling up. Last exhale here, draw the navel in, drop the head and tail, press in with the hands, and then release just to neutral, and then lift your left palm and then place the back of the hand onto the floor and gently push into that hand and gently round through the spine. Not a full, doesn't need to be a full down cat. Just to stretch into the wrist, and then you can let that wrist go, give it a little bit of a shake, and just place it back into neutral. And then turn the right hand so the fingers face the knee, face towards the knee, and we take an inhale here. We exhale to drop the head and tail round through the spine. And inhale, roll those sit bones, chest and chin up. Exhale, navel in, tail and head drop. And inhale. And exhale. Okay, so we inhale back to neutral. And as we do, we lift that right hand and place the back of the hand, should have done this like this perhaps, onto the floor. And just gently round through the spine and press the back of the hand into the floor. Don't overdo that. And then you can just pick the hand up carefully and gently shake it out. Big toes together, knees apart as we drop the buttocks back down to the heels. And then just again, rock those hips from side to side. Press the hands into the floor so the elbows, forearms are off the floor and you're really lengthening from your hands to your hips. Come back to the center in stillness, bring the hands together in prayer and use an inhalation to lift them up and over the head and back down to the earth. Inhale, lift up and over. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lift up and over, and then this time we rotate the wrists, so bringing the back of the thumbs, then the back of the fingers together, and then all the way till we get to the side of the hands, heel of the hands, back of the thumb, fingers, all the way, big rotation, full circle with the hands. And then changing the direction. Bring the hands back into prayer and drop the thumbs towards the spine. Shoot the elbows out in front of you towards the top of the mat as you drop your heart down to the earth. Take a breath here. And then you can inhale and begin to come up again onto all four paws. I'm going to use this opportunity to take my socks off, because we won't be needing them for now. So the buttocks are still down to the heels, the hands are still stretching a little bit away, and we're going to walk the hands in towards the knees, then lift the knees up and pull our hips and heels down behind us as if we want to sit on the ground behind us. And then we're going to inhale and drop the knees back down and shoot the heart between the hands as if we're doing up cat, so rolling the sit bones, lifting chest and chin. And as we exhale, coil back into your center, press the hands into the floor, knees lift up, and we drop buttocks and heels back towards the floor, drop the head into the center, down cat action. Inhale, knees to earth, open the heart, roll the sit bones, up cat. And exhale, coiling into the center, pressing into the floor, lifting knees, dropping buttocks and heels. A couple more rounds, just like this in your own time. Inhaling, opening, exhaling, and coiling. Take one more round. Inhale, drop the knees. Open up your heart. And as you exhale, lift the knees, walk the hands in a little closer. And then inhale, the left arm up, that right hand can still be on the floor supporting you. Open up and reach into the left hand, pressing that right forearm back into the inner right thigh to keep opening that hip. And then exhale, release the left arm down. And then inhale, lift the right arm, reach it up, press that left arm into the inner thigh of the left leg, and begin to open up that right side. One last breath into the fingertips. Use the exhalation to come back down. Both hands now compress into the floor, flat into the floor with the fingers nice and spread. And we are just going to bend the elbows and round all the way down into the floor. Maybe your elbows can come and the whole forearm rests on the floor. Maybe that's not possible, that's okay. So let's see what we've got, but we're really trying to round through the spine here. Get that little tortoise shape. And then inhale, come out. And exhale, lift your buttocks, straighten the legs so we're coming into Uttanasana. Hands can just remain where they are, so your knees might be a little bit bent here. And we inhale and do a little half lift. And then as we exhale, we bend the knees again. And just bend the knees, lift the heels, bend the elbows and place your knees into your upper arm. And then straighten the legs. Release the heels to the earth, head drops down, Uttanasana. And then we inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees and elbows and let them marry each other. The knees are going to marry the upper arms. And then straighten the legs, release the head, pull back. And then heels high, knees and elbows bend. Marry those knees and upper arms. And then straighten those legs again, just folding. Place, if you can, the hands underneath the feet. So the sole of the foot and the palm of the hands are pressing into each other. The back of the hand into the floor. You might need quite bent knees for that. Or you could have blocks, I guess, here for that. You could have the blocks here and you're just pressing the back of the hands into blocks. So that is an option. When I said we didn't need props, that wasn't entirely true, right? You might need props. Inhale, half lift, and that's really super tricky here. So we're just lifting the heart and the chin a little bit, straightening the back of the legs to see what we've got. And then folding again, releasing the hands from the feet. And then as you're ready, bending those knees deeply, pressing the feet into the floor and rolling up like a rag doll, all the way up and over. Hands come overhead. You could even watch the union and then exhale as the hands come through the center and back to the heart space. just take a moment to experience all there is to experience. What does purpose feel like in your body? Take a deep breath in and really ground yourself into the earth. Really from the crown all the way down into your feet, like you're a pole that's been inserted into the earth. Feet root down to the earth. You'll feel the belly, that lower deep belly, drawing a little in and up. You feel a fanning of the heart. So try and feel from that belly, drawing in and up, that it slightly lifts into your solar plexus and into your heart. Shoulders are broad, but not pulled back and down. They're just relaxed. And I want you to have a firm drishti. It's not a hard look. It's a soft gaze, but very focused, right and directly in front of you. Don't look at anything in particular. Try and keep that softness of the eyeballs, but a very firm, focused look. We interlace our fingers once again, and just the index and thumb are out back into Agni Mudra. And I just want you to feel this direct line in your body, this really, this purpose gives us this real sense of focus and determination, and it feels very pointy to me. So I want you to feel that strength within you, that integrity within you, that focus expressed not just through the body, but through the eyes as well. And on an inhale, we're going to raise the arms back up and over as we did it right at the beginning of class. And as we exhale, slice the air in front of us, bend the knees slightly, so we're coming into a slight chair pose. And then again, we inhale, straighten the legs, arms come up and over. And exhale, slice through the air in front of you as you bend the knees, dropping the arms down. Perfect. One more round. Exhale. Inhale here, reach up, and now really begin to open the heart to the sky. Press those feet in, keep the tail long, and really then open your heart, bending back a little bit here. And then open your arms up, dive down, soften the knees as you go, and release the head completely as you come into the fullness of your fold. Half lift on the inhale, and begin to walk your hands towards the top of your mat so you can come into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hands are at shoulder distance, feet are at hip distance. We're going to inhale, lift the heels and round our spine forward into plank, and then bend the knees and push back. Inhale, lift the heels, bring yourself forward into plank, soften those elbows because the alignment might not be quite right for this. Push back. Inhale, round forward, shoulders over elbows, shoulders, maybe at a wrist, maybe they're not, and that's why we need to bend those elbows a little bit. And then one more round. And exhale, push back. Get yourself comfortable there and downward facing dog. A little wag of the tail, perhaps a couple of times. And we're going to just walk those hands just a slight bit further forward. So when we come into plank, our shoulders really are directly over our wrists. And we're going to walk our knees into our center, as if we're running, but we're just running in plank. You can do this as quickly or as slowly as you like. Warm up, warm up. Keep your focus, perhaps on the mat between the hands. And then just slowly begin to slow it down. Woo. Push back into downward facing dog. Relax, release, and exhale through the mouth. Once or two times, maybe even three. And then we're going to inhale and lift the right leg. Reach it up and back. Stroke the sky with the leg. And then exhale, coil it in. And bring that right foot to the right hand. Get yourself comfortable, your alignment with your feet right, to come up into a standing plank, high lunge. Inhale, lift all the way up, bring the arms up and over. As you relax into it, interlace the hands into your ugly mudra. Take an inhale here, a little rise up, and as you exhale, slice through the center. Drop the hips down at the same time, really ground yourself. Inhale, let the arms rise up. And exhale, slice through the center. And inhale, let the arms rise up. And then this time, as we exhale, we're going to bring our hand into full interlace and just drop our elbow, our right elbow to the right side. Left elbow just sits behind the head. And we're leaning gently to the right hand side. Breathe into the left side of your body. Take an inhale. See if you can lean a little bit back and to the right to really open up that left side. And as you exhale, take the elbow over the head and see if you can bring that left elbow to the right outer knee or thigh. If that's too much, place it onto the actual thigh itself and you can just be there like that. Or if it's too much still, then the hand can come to the floor. Otherwise, we're tucking it under. Kick into that back heel. Bring that front knee forward and drop that front hip down a little. Take one more breath there. And then use the exhalation to lift out and back so the hands can come back onto the floor. Lift the back heel, drop the head round through the spine and bring that back, that right foot to the back foot, to the left. Back into downward facing dog, and you can have a little moment, a little play there. You need to come to your knees at these moments of rest, and you can. And then we're going to inhale and lift the left leg up, stroke the sky. And then as you exhale, coil into the center and bring that left foot to your left hand. At this point, you make any adjustments you feel you need to, so you can come to a standing position comfortably. Press that front foot into the floor in particular and inhale, rise. As the arms rise up and over, we bring into the thigh mudra. And as we exhale, we ground down, our hips down and slice the air in front of us. And then inhale, slight rise. And as we exhale, dip down. Keep that focus, that steady gaze. That's that drishti just out in front of us, keeping nice, still eyes. The arms come up and over on this inhale. They're going to stay there, or they're going to reach up. Sorry, and then we interlace. And as we exhale, we drop that left elbow up and down, and the right elbow tucks in behind the head. Kick into that back heel as you begin to deepen the bend in the front knee. Breathe into the right side of the body. Stay nice and steady. Keep your eyeballs nice and steady. Take one inhale where you lean it back and to the right. So we're really opening that right side of the body. And as you exhale, take the elbow over the head and either bring it to the knee or the outer edge of the thigh, or of course the hand can come inside the foot to the floor. If you're in the more of a bind type thing, then just get yourself nice and comfortable there, kick into the back heel, drop that front hip and bring the knee a little more forward. Take one more breath there from heel to crown. And then as you exhale, lift out of there. And then hands come back to the ground, back to the floor. We're going to step forward. So we're going to bend that back knee and step forward with the right leg to the front, to the left. Hands are going to come to the floor if they can. Feet can be a little wide here, like shoulder distance wide. And again, we're going to lift those heels and bend the elbows and knees and marry those two together. And then simply begin to drop the buttocks to the floor. Heels drop to the floor. And if we can, buttocks drops to the floor. Please support yourself with your hands behind you if you need. Feet come together. You can place your hands in under your knees if you like, as you begin to lean back, lift the heart, draw those shoulders back and down, and feel the scooping from that lower belly, scooping in and up, and then just lean back and lift your feet off the floor. See if you can do that. You can hold here under the thighs, under the back of the knees, and we've got our the ball of the big toes and big toes together, heels just slightly apart. Keep lifting from that lower belly into the heart. Keep drawing those shoulders back and down. And keep lifting those heels, feet up. And your gaze is just nice and steady over the big toes. Then we can just release those feet down, bring our hands in front of the knees, and if we can, slowly coil down so we lie on the floor. So bringing our feet up now, we can grab hold of the ankles or the outer edges of our feet if we're comfortable with that, and just begin to draw those knees in under the arms. Breathe in here. Just a couple of nice deep breaths, perhaps into the lower back, perhaps into the sacrum, maybe it's somewhere else for you. And from there, we bring our hands and we bring them in between the feet, And we're going to press our whole body, press our hands and our whole body up and through our legs. So our knees and our shoulders are pretty much marrying each other, and we're squeezing our hands, reaching them as if they're pressing up against the floor. And then if you like, you can bring the ball of your big toes together. So this is the imprint of the pose that we are working towards. So this whole class is a purpose towards a pose. Release all of that, release the head back down to the floor. And if you like, you can really lift your buttocks up so your feet come over your head, maybe towards the floor, maybe not. Lift and release, lift and release, lift and release. So we want to start pumping the core muscle that's going to lift us into Bakasana, the crow pose. So just warming up that belly center. And then we can have a little bit more of a relaxed approach. You can bend the knees and begin to do some spinal rolls. Imagine yourself like a child on a swing in the playground. Whee! Whee! Okay. And then we swing all the way up. Feet come back to the earth, and if we can, all the way through. And once again, if you need to just change yourself, make sure if you're doing we're just still doing prep work for this. but make sure your hands are on one surface, not half on a mat and half off a mat, right? So we flatten the hands into the floor, we spread the fingers, and even at this point, if our knees and thighs can marry our upper arms, we can begin this squeezing the thighs into the arms, and the arms press back into the thighs. Lift your buttocks and find that marriage, find some of the weight coming into the hand, and just get springy and comfortable with it. I like my knees right up high, right up into my underarms for this pose. Some people do it slightly differently. Then once you've had that experience, just straighten the legs and fold over. We're going to half lift when you're ready on an inhale and step back with the left foot and then right, and here we are back into downward facing dog. We're going to inhale the right leg up again. And exhale, bring it forward. This time we're coming into warrior two. So it's not the lunge where we have the heel lifted, but where we have the heel drop down. So I'm going to step our foot, our ball of our foot out by, say, a foot distance, and then drop the heel down. So our heels are still heel to hip distance. And then as you're ready, inhale. Rise up and bring the hands into Fire Mudra, Agni Mudra, over our head, and as you exhale, come into the lunge, making any adjustment with the feet that you need to. I always need to do that. And begin to root down through your feet as evenly as possible. The hands gently press into each other and pull you up as if the hands themselves are like got a rope around them and being pulled up. But at the same time, you sit into your hips and the hips root down towards the earth. And as if the root of your shoulders are attached to your hips, they can also just lower the shoulders down. Take one more breath there, and then we shoot forward on an exhale, bringing the hands out forward like we're an arrow. One more breath, and then exhale, release the hands down to the floor, shoulder distance. You can lift that heel off the floor now, and you can find this marriage here of the shoulder and the knee. And if you can, you might need to step that back foot in a little bit. See if you can bend the elbow enough that you can lift that foot off the floor, and for a moment experience that lifted foot there, and then step back into downward facing dog. Catch your breath, and if you need to be just for a moment resting down, of course, you can always be in child's pose. And then we inhale to lift that left leg up. Reach it up, be firm in both hands, but particularly that left arm. And then coil through, drawing that foot in and then to the left hand. We're going to step that right foot out to the right and then drop the heel down. And then inhale, press the feet into the floor, rise, hands come up and over. We come into our interlace. I'm going to have a quick little play with my wrists to make sure they're going to be ready for the finale. And then interlace into our fire pose, our fire mudra. Adjust your feet as you need to. Root down through the hips to the feet and press all four corners of your palms into each other as you lift up, as if being pulled up by the wrists. And then remember, the root of your shoulders are attached to the hips, so they're not lifting the shoulders as well. Take one more breath there. And as you exhale, begin to point yourself like an arrow in that direction. Reach into that back leg. Pull back into that front hip in particular. And find your comfort here. One more breath. Reaching from that back foot to your fingers. And then exhale, slowly bring those hands down. On either side of your foot, at shoulder distance, palms really pressing in at all four corners, fingers spread, and then make any little adjustment you need to be able to then marry this little, the knee and the elbow. Just for a moment. And then step back into downward facing dog. You can drop to your knees for now. Maybe have them nice and wide so you can come into like a wisdom pose and just take a breath or two here to completely relax everything. After a few deep, steadying breaths, we're going to lift up. Hands come to the floor at shoulder distance. So you can just have your buttocks still to your heels. We're just looking at that nice alignment of the hands. Come up onto our knees. We tuck the toes. And we're not doing dog. We're just going to walk those feet in a little bit more. I have them sitting around about a foot to a foot and a half away from the back of my wrist. And I'm going to start by bending my knees slightly, doing like an up cat position with my body. So rounding the sit bones up, lifting my chest and chin, and then beginning to bend both knees and elbows. You'll find whether you've got the right alignment at that point, whether they can easily marry each other or not. So lift the heels, bend the knees and elbows, and see if you can marry your knees and your underarms. You don't have to do the full pose, but it can be fun to just have a little bit of a play with it, that lifting one foot and then the other. You want to find that lifting in the lower belly. The hips drop down, but we keep lifting up. We press the hands into the floor and lift your belly, and maybe one toe and then the other. Maybe together. Have a couple of goes at it. See how you get. This does take a lot of practice, this one. But it is very, the power comes from the center. And I think really in purpose, this is our powerhouse. Yes, our purpose is from the heart, but what sustains us comes from our belly, from our core. So you might like one more try if you haven't managed, or you might be completely over this. Then we just rest that down, drop the heels and then the buttocks to the floor. And then just roll back down. So you're lying back on the floor with hugging the knees in. Then you can just drop your feet one foot at a time to the floor. Elbows are dropped down, but lift the hands and let's rotate them out. So just take a moment to rotate through the wrists in both directions. I'm going to suggest that if you need to put socks or anything back on because you get cold feet, like I sort of do, you can also take a little bit of time to do that because class is going to slow down. Hallelujah, right? It's been a fairly strong class, but to me, purpose is a lot about strength and endurance and being able to push through with a decisive decision that we've made. I'm gonna do this, right? This is purpose. It really is a lot to do with our willpower as well. It's a lot to do with core activation. So hug those knees back in. And if you like, extend those legs up. And as we did before, maybe with the support of the hands along your side, lift the buttocks up. You might like to try it a few times, just lifting the buttocks up, rounding through the spine, feet go up and over until maybe you can come into a half shoulder stand, maybe with the hands just cupping the hips and we're just leaning into them and the legs are going out on an angle. Maybe you like the idea of coming into Halasana, if that's available to you, where the feet come to maybe the floor or maybe, some blocks or a bolster or a wall. And if you're doing it, see if you can walk your elbows, your shoulder blades in towards each other. And once they're in nice and tight, we place the hands on the back of the elbows, coming in as much as they can to the center. You might like to try bringing your knees to hover over the forehead. Some of you might be able to have the knees on the forehead. And if you like, just having a moment where one leg and then the other or both come up for a moment in shoulder step. Keep your focus, your drishti, on your toes, and particularly on the marriage of the ball of the big toes and the big toes themselves. And then we can simply let the legs drop back down and coil all the way slowly to the floor. You might like to sit your hands in under the buttocks and press the elbows into the floor so your chest rises as your legs drop down. And then we just allow the head to drop back. Maybe the head makes it to the floor, maybe it doesn't. And just let the chin drop back and really open into the heart. We don't need to be there long, so shrug the shoulders, tuck the chin back in. Lay your body down. Just take a moment to assess. It may be that you just feel like you'd like to finish off with something. And for me, I'm thinking of a twist. So I'm going to take my right knee into my left hand and take that knee over to the left hand side. And just breathe a couple of simple breaths there. If you've got something else you prefer to finish with, please do that. Whenever you're ready, you just, if you're joining me, release that leg back down, realign yourself on the floor, and then bring the left knee to the right hand and let the right hand draw that knee across the right hand side. Breathe a couple of deep breaths. And then releasing out as you're ready. Do you need anything over the top of you? Little blankets or just an extra layer? If so, you can place it on now. Otherwise, have the feet nice and spread. probably around shoulder distance. Let the arms fall away from the body and the palms bent up. You might like to walk those shoulder blades in towards each other a little bit and then just shrug the upper shoulder away from the floor a little bit. Tail gets tucked, flesh of the buttocks down towards the heels. Back of the head lengthens away and then is just placed back down. So the chin is slightly tucked under. And then just take a deeper breath into the body, a conscious breath. And let the exhalation extend, and as it does, just release all the effort of today's class with the breath. Bring your attention as you're ready into the midline of your body. And feel into the danda of the body, the staff of the body, that inner pole or apple core of the body that holds you steady, that gives you strength. And just allow your awareness to sit in that purpose of the body, that aspect of the body. Let everything else soften away. Relaxing the features of your face. Relaxing the inner danda of your body. Relaxing without any focus you have. Just allow everything to be natural and neutral. And just feel into yourself, your natural, spontaneous self, no direction. Just feeling into who you are. And remembering that who you are is your greatest purpose. Taking a deeper breath in as you're ready. Try not to mess with any deep ease and relaxation created. filling the body with prana, filling the body with a sense of purpose for your day. And then as you're ready, you can just begin to allow movement back into the body. Any stretching, any movement that feels right for you. And then as you're ready, animals everywhere. I hear one of my big purposes. Okay, so bring our hands into prayer and bring the back of the thumbs this time to the third eye, to the eyebrow center. And just pause there for a moment as you feel into this area. And then just slowly bringing the back of the thumbs to your lips. And then to the heart. So we often have these three places where we repeat the mantra Om Shanti, 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 in order that there will be peace in our thoughts, in our words, and in our hearts. Namaste. We'll see each other next week and have a little think about some of those purpose points.